So hey guys, and happy Halloween. So anyway, before I go out this evening, I just thought I would throw together a very quick video of some of the projects that we're working on around the shop. I haven't uploaded any videos in a while, and that's because I like to have a certain stopping point in each video before I upload it. And the black 928 was actually supposed to be the next series of videos after that silver 944, but it actually needs more work than I expected. I wanted it running in the first episode, but it just needs so much stuff that I can't troubleshoot it any further until I get a new wiring harness and a few other things, so I'm just waiting on that. And for now, we're planning on getting that engine put back into the yellow 83 944. And I've also got the engine pulled out of my 87 924S. So I'm going to leave you guys with some footage of that right quick. So alright, here's the black 928. I'm hoping to have it running in the first episode that I make on this car. It seems simple enough. I thought maybe I would change a few fuel pump relays or things like that and get it running. However, it turns out that the entire engine harness is completely shot, and I can't do any more troubleshooting until I get this replaced, and the owner is supposed to be getting me one. So until then, progress is pretty much stopped on this car for now, and I've just been working on other things. Here's this yellow 83 944 that we're building the engine for. I'm hoping to get it cleaned up and get the engine in sometime in the next few weeks. I've just been kind of sidetracked with other projects like that white 88 944, but as far as I know, that car is home and still doing well. And I actually did a comparison on my Facebook page between my 88 924S and that white 944. So hey guys, they have two 88 models. One is a 944, of course, and the other one is my 924S. Now, the owner's getting ready to come pick up this white car, so I thought I would just take a moment and show you the differences between these models. Of course, the 924S is probably closer to an early 944, but since this is an 88 model, it does have the 10.2 compression engine, the same engine that's in this car here. And pretty much the only difference is it has narrower fenders, as you can see here, and it has the 924 interior, which we'll look at here in a moment. So if you have a 924S and you've never sat in a later 944, I'll take you guys over here so that way you can see it. This one here has leather seats, or leatherette seats rather. This is what the later dash looks like. This 88 model has rear seat belts that go over the shoulder there. And of course, if you have a later 944 and you've never seen the earlier 944's interior, well, this is pretty much it here. I have a little temperature gauge stuck in there because I like to know how cold my AC is, but I'll remove it. So that way you can get a better look here. Now, of course, the early 944s had yellow gauges instead of these white ones. I actually prefer the white gauges here. And I'll go ahead and pop the hood. Oh, someone had to use the air wrench while I'm recording something. Now, aside from the interiors and the narrower fenders, these cars are pretty much identical when it comes to the drivetrain. I'll go ahead and pop the hood here. You can see that they had the same shifters. Now, the 87 models had the earlier 944 shifters that weren't completely covered in leather. And you can see that my 88 has the later 944 shifter. So as you can see here, the engines are absolutely identical in every way, vacuum hose routing and everything. You can see how the little check valve comes off the fuel pressure regulator here, where on earlier cars it actually comes off the brake booster. And the 88 models also have this, since they don't have a venturi. And if you come over here and look at the 88 944, check valves in the same place, and this hose. So both engines tend to make 158 SAE horsepower, and that's important. If you want to talk about metric horsepower, then be 160 metric horsepower. But I like to distinguish between the two horsepowers, because a lot of times people will throw out a metric horsepower rating that isn't to SAE standards, and in that case they may be running it without accessories or things like that, and that just gives you a false rating. So keep in mind that the actual SAE rating of the Euro cars with 10.6 is actually 156 horsepower, and is 2 horsepower below the 88 engines. Now the 163 number is exactly what I'm talking about there. They ran the engines without oil and accessories and stuff to kind of inflate the numbers. But anyway, I don't want to get into all that. But otherwise, these cars are practically identical as far as the drivetrain goes. So I just thought I would make a very quick video for you guys to see. And finally, here we have this red 87 924S. We just got the engine out a while back, and it's now on the stand. We're going to be making some videos on this car as we tear the engine down and get it running again. But for now, I thought I would just show you some footage from my Facebook page where we pulled the engine out. So hey guys, today we got this 87 924S lifted up, and we're going to be pulling the engine. This is an 86 engine that someone's put in here, and as I mentioned in another video, it's locked up. But I have yet another engine from an 87 that's in pretty good shape, just the cylinders are scored, so I'm hoping to put everything into this block. Hopefully it's not damaged in any way. But we're going to be taking this out through the bottom, and you see that I've got the head and everything off now, and we've got it up in the air, so that way once we remove the wheels and the cross member, we're just going to lower it down with my engine crane. So alright, we now have the engine out, and we have it sitting over here. It's still locked up. I was kind of hoping that maybe it was just stuck on the torque tube or something. As you can see, there's no clutch or pressure plate in there, just the flywheel. But the engine's still frozen up at this point, and I thought that we would just go ahead and take this bell housing off and see what's going on. So alright, we got the bell housing off, and as I mentioned, there's no clutch disc or pressure plate here, and it looks like maybe someone was grinding on this, or they put a clutch in and the springs hit this, but it looks more like a grinder to me. But anyway, this engine's locked up, and I'm going to try and get it on the stand tomorrow and get it apart and see what we can do with it. So here's the engine out of that red 87 924S, and I went in and pulled the rod caps just to get a good look at the bearings, but they look to be fine. And of course down here I have that engine out of the white 924S, Then over here I have the engine out of that yellow 83 944 that I hope to have back in the next few weeks. So anyway guys, that's going to do it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it and I hope you have a happy Halloween.